Hi, I'm Siddha Param from strandridge.com, strategy and negotiation consultants. I'm the host for this Biz Exchange podcast, launched in October 2022. The Biz Exchange was originally launched as a weekly breakfast meeting in March 2014 at the historic Fort Gibraltar in Winnipeg, where fur traders used to meet back in the 19th century. The inspiration for the Biz Exchange comes from meetings at a coffee house in London, England, of traders in 1698, which became the London Stock Exchange. Insights from discussions at the Biz Exchange were published as a book entitled Sustaining High Growth for Long-Term Success. The Biz Exchange went online in 2020. I believe that competitive leadership can transform a small business with a web presence into a micro multinational enterprise with an ability to tap into both local and global markets. The Biz Exchange podcast explores growth strategies and business resilience with stories from entrepreneurs and business leaders. We promote a cross-pollination of ideas on competitive leadership to sustain high growth. This Biz Exchange podcast is a community service project by strandridge.com. I, Siddha Param, am the host. Editing of the podcast is provided by Brian Campbell of highhopescommunications.ca. Strandridge.com provides consulting in crafting a mission-driven strategy for growth, negotiating effective agreements, and implementing competitive leadership for sustainable growth. Strandridge.com additionally provides training on how to negotiate a more resilient supply chain. Contact us online via strandridge.com for consulting and training. We hope you find this podcast entertaining and insightful.
Hello, folks. This is the Biz Exchange podcast. It's the third in the series. We started in October, November, and now going into December, and it's going to be holiday season. So we have decided to invite and have a conversation with Edith Bosshart. She's an entrepreneur in Winnipeg. She runs a furniture store. It's more than just a furniture store because she really is here to help us to create a beautiful ambience for work and for home. And I think she's very much into looking at a healthy environment for the people who invite her in to find solutions. So Edith has been Edit for quite a number of years because I've known you for quite a number of years, Edit. So I know you're really passionate about the business you're doing. But let's start with the early years. How did you decide to come to a city like this, and how do you see opportunity to start a business? Maybe that's a great way to start now. So Edit, over to you.
Thank you very much, Siddha, for inviting me. I'm very excited to share my journey and experiences in hopes of inspiring other entrepreneurs who are thinking of starting a business or want to revamp their business in a new direction. I've enjoyed our conversations. I think we know each other for almost as long as I started my business, and I very much appreciate the conversations that you bring up. One of my favorite topics that was in month of March, I believe, we talked about to sustain business, high performance, embrace work as an integral part of your physical and mental well-being. I think this is a dream to be alive now. There's a lot of shifts and a lot of changes going on, so it's hectic for a lot of us. But by sharing our experiences, we can help each other. We can help each other to grow, to come up with new ideas, and to sustain our growth and resilience. So just a little bit about my past. I immigrated to Canada when I was 15 in 1978. So it was the 70s, a great time. I immigrated from the capital of Hungary, Budapest, which is a beautiful, beautiful city full of architecture, museums, mountains. The Turks ruled Hungary for over 100 years, so there's beautiful Turkish baths, very, very rich in culture. Although at a young age, I was very aware of wellness, the political struggle that the country went through. So I was very passionate, being a Libra, I was always passionate about fairness. I wanted to help people. I love people. Mm-hmm. So I was very fortunate to immigrate to Canada at a young age. My parents divorced, so I came with my mom. My grandparents already lived here. They immigrated during the revolution in 1956. So I was very excited, learned the language, worked part-time at a factory after school to make some money because I was all looking forward to fashion and nice things. And then I graduated early from high school and got a job at I did many different jobs, but basically pointing out all the different experiences. And my story, I think, is not unique to anyone else's. We take our story and turn it into advantages to flourish and to help others flourish, whether we run a business, whether we have a job, whether we run a family. It's all about sustaining growth and being resilient, especially during these ever-changing times. So I worked at McDonald's because I spoke English already, and then I really wanted to work in a boutique. I loved fashion. So I would walk up and down Portage Avenue dressed up, asking if I could have a job, and everyone said, you need experience. So I said, I'll work for free.
Okay, that's interesting.
If I could just gain the experience.
So what is it about? What is it about fashion, right? That you're so passionate that you said, I'm willing to work for free.
I think it's, I like the idea of playing with shapes, colors, materials. I love nature, beauty, architecture. So I'm very attracted to beautiful things, I guess. A lot of people probably are. So I was feeding that part of my passion, this with clothing and so
so you cleared for free.
Yeah, so I said, because everybody wanted experience, I didn't have any. So I said, being 16 years old, I'll work for free so I can gain the experience. So everything points towards having the right mentality, the right vision, the right attitude, because we create our future by our mental state and what is in our heart. We know that now. So I like to portray the message that anyone can do anything if only they convince themselves, their mind, and have it in their heart and willing to roll up their sleeves and do the heavy lifting.
That's very nice. You talk about head and the heart, and then you say you got to roll up the sleeve and do the heavy lifting.
Yeah. And so I didn't get a job in a store, but I got a job in a one-stop bridal shop, which was just amazing. There's just happy brides coming that are just getting married. So I was in heaven. I dressed them up in their beautiful bridal gowns. Sometimes they'll try on 10 gowns. And Saturdays it was really busy. So we had like a lot of brides come in. So we would do their the bridal gowns, and we would do their photography. That was one stop at that time.
Right.
I really, really enjoyed it and came up with an idea to add shoes. We would color the shoes to the color of the bridesmaid dresses. We added jewelry, hair pieces. I would start playing with the bride's hair, and the mother of the bride would come in, the groom of the bride would come in. And so, how are you going to wear your hair? So, always think outside the box, come up with new ideas. Don't be afraid to be criticized, and be yourself, because that's when we can thrive.
Mm-hmm.
So I became the manager of that bridal salon, and it was all a wonderful experience. And then I met my husband, my first love, and he had a farm, a dairy farm, with his brother about 40 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
And they would see each other twice a day. He'd come in after milking in the morning, and then he'd come in after the chores at night. And it became kind of hectic because he was driving a lot and was very tired, didn't sleep very much. So at one time, he stopped at a red light at, I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock, and 4 o'clock, the cops came by and said, "We saw you a few hours ago. You were still at this red light." He fell asleep. So then, this is going to sound ironic and funny, but we loved each other so much, we decided to get married. So 3 months later, we were married.
Okay.
And then we had children, and the farm grew from a 30-head high stall barn to 140. So the two brothers worked very hard. First, it was all milk by hand, and then they built silos. So it was basically a lifestyle. So farming, they say, is not a job, it's really a lifestyle. And I think that's the direction that the whole future of workplace is going.
Right.
It's a lifestyle.
Okay, that's interesting. We left the farms, we came to the cities, and then you go back, and you're saying that the future, right, is like learning from the farmers about lifestyle.
Yeah. That's my personal experience, and I liked reading a lot, especially about the future of work.
Mm-hmm.
Interior design, space planning. So this is a dream come true for me, actually, this time, because I think now I can talk about a happy work environment, a healthy work environment, a place where people can be passionate about what they do. And so we help them create that space so that they are functional. And it all comes down to being in service for the best interest of all concerned.
Right.
Because when we do what we love, we're passionate about, and ask for help, I'm very fortunate that it's a family-owned business. So my husband is a very analytical person with a master's in business admin. My daughter is the designer, and we are very close. Like as a child, I was raised. My father was in the army, so I had to put my shoes beside each other every time I entered. You close your mouth while you eat, the proper etiquette. But I was praised. I was beautiful. I was the best. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. Mm-hmm. But you gotta make sure that you follow the principles and the rules, what it takes to get things done.
Right.
So I truly believe that whatever each of us are doing, whether you're operating a business or about to open your own business, you start a family, or you work at a job, take pride, be authentic, and use each other,
Yes.
Like on the farm, we couldn't have done it without the wives, cooking. I would be baking a loaf of bread and it was gone during breakfast.
Right.
Ben came in from the farm and we could squeeze sweat out of his jeans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have to work that hard anymore, but it served its purpose. I would never change anything from my past because this is who I am today.
Right. Okay.
So then the bridal salon, I got married, the farm grew so fast, and we didn't quite get along. It was two families, and the Chinese sign for trouble is two women under one roof.
Right.
So it took about 10 years because the farm was so big.
Yeah.
It took about 10 years to sell the farm. And during this time, Ben and I moved to Ontario because I always missed the mountains. I missed the big city, the action, the art, the museum, the fashion, right? So the children were little still. So we packed up our belongings and went to Ontario, and there again, we, work hard, play hard. It was a mentality that we had coming from Europe. I had 2 jobs. I didn't want to have the children looked after by someone else. So Ben worked during the day, I was with the children, and then I worked at night. So I'd waitress and bartend. I'd waitress in an Italian restaurant where service was very important. So I enjoyed visiting each table and connecting with the couples and servicing them. So again, be in service for others, right? So that worked, but as things changed, the children grew older, I recognized that we are just a number here. What do I really want out of life? What is important for us? So we decided to move back to Winnipeg. So packed up everything again. We had a chinchilla and beautiful plants that I wanted to take back, and a dog at this time. So we all came back. And as we were driving back, I looked at the sky and I said, yes, look at Manitoba, the friendly Manitoba. The beautiful sky, clean air.
The blue skies, yeah.
The blue skies, the clean air. Yeah, so we came back. And I mean, I'm fortunate to be in this beautiful country with such rich, multi-natural culture where there's so many things to learn, so many things to eat, different restaurants to eat in. And it's just more down to earth here, I found, to raise 2 children. So we were back, and I worked at Rogers. I got a job as the account representative, a corporate account rep. And I was there for 3 years. I did the cold calling like a salesperson would do, door to door. I got some accounts, major accounts, trucking companies, where I would say, I activate you under your corporate plan within an hour. So there we go, service again, work hard, do it. Let's be proud. So I won, I think, twice in a row. I was the top sales rep. And then we started a trucking company, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
And so we got one Peterbilt, a highway tractor. Ben was driving it, and then it worked. We created a system. Ben is a very much of a system person, so he creates methods and systems and forms how to, build something from ground up.
Right.
And I'm a very much people person, so I'm very good with talking to people. So we got our authority in all of the states and western provinces. We'd be hauling lumber or pit moss south, and we'd be hauling pipe or machinery back. And so 1 truck, 2 truck, 3 truck, 5 truck, and I was, dispatching, loading them, making the sandwiches on a Saturday for Ben to go on the road, line the 10 sandwiches up so he has healthy food to eat while he's down.
Right.
I met him when he got back, fired drivers, communicated. It was great. It was busy, but it was great.
Right.
And then we recognize that every once in a while, I think I can suggest for everyone to check in with yourselves. Is this really what I want? Is this serving the purpose that I'm after? So we recognize that it's not congruent with what we desire as far as the family, the togetherness, the growth, the strengthening of our relationships. So we stopped, then went driving for a while. And I got a job in the office furniture industry.
Right.
And again, I thrived. I really enjoyed it. I brought most of my clients with me at this time because you develop these relationships starting at a very young age, and those relationships stay with you. Yeah. If you nurture them and look after them, they stay with you. So I've got some big accounts, corporate accounts, and I started, to let everybody know this is what I'm doing, and excelled, and the business closed. It was a family-owned business, and they split up. So then it was time for me to make a decision. Now, what would I like to do? So we discussed it, and everybody said, "Mom, you go ahead and open your own."
Right.
So, okay. So it took about 1.5 years to plan and create all the business plan and how would I like to operate? What is my model? Took courses, I took an accounting course. And then all of our life, we were working towards creating something that's sustainable, a business where we can actually make money to have a good life, supporting each other and the environment. So I didn't want to do something that is very harmful. Manufacturing or food industry, or so we looked at different possibilities, franchises, and I really am a renegade by nature.
Okay.
And I really love to learn and create my own systems.
Right.
I like to test things and see how they work and tweak them. And because we have such a dynamic relationship, we took advantage of that, and we created Inspired Business Interiors Inc. with the logo that represents the flower of life. The flower of life is a geometric shape that it represents, and sorry if I could take a moment, I copied and pasted.
Right. So
the flower of life is a geometrical shape of colors, cycles of creation. There is believed to be a secret symbol hidden within the flower of the life symbol, which is said to hold the most significant and sacred patterns of the universe. It is believed to be a sort of blueprint for all life, with the fundamental patterns for everything from atoms to planets and everything in between. So this was just a perfect logo.
How did you come up with it? It's so philosophical, and very deep, right? And I can understand now why your business is called Inspired, right?
So inspired means inspired to make someone feel that they want to do something and can do it. This is coming from the Cambridge Dictionary. To influence, encourage, leadership, to breathe life into, to motivate. So this is, our passion is to be of service. And when we meet a client, every client is unique. We take the time to listen and learn where they are planning to be, and we offer them solutions.
Right. Okay, that's really interesting, Edith. That you're passionate about things, and you've created a very deep philosophy for your business itself, right? And that philosophy is also you. I can see it in that it's you as much as it's the business, So it's like you've invested your whole worldview into the business itself.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's very important, because I guess the older we get, we realize, why are we here? Why do we do what we do? Right. And we want to pass on the most valuable information, messages to the next generation, because we are responsible when we are alive. That's our responsibility. So I ingrained this same philosophy in raising our children. This was passed down to me by my parents.
Yes.
And I think it's very, very important.
Would you say that figuring out your own philosophy of life helps you to sustain you in what you're doing? Because business can be a quite a grind. Every day we got to do certain things, and not everything that we do that is necessary for business is exciting.
Yes.
But it must be done. Right. So, would you say that by having this bigger picture, or the bigger objective of the business, in the back of your mind, keeps you going?
Yes. So, if I wanted to talk about some of these solutions that I implemented, it's ingrained because those who are passionate about what they do, and they recognize that it makes a difference when they wake up in the morning, how my day is going to be. So if we look out for ourselves, or look after ourselves, health, a balanced lifestyle, and ask for help, we can create solutions so that we could do what we're good at and hire people for the things we're not so good at. Now, when you build a foundation to operate your business, every time you add someone, they have to be involved in the same, so they have to live and breathe this philosophy. And if they are not understanding it or they are faking it, it'll collapse. So to grow a successful business, it's very important that you take the time to identify who are you, where you want to go,
right?
Find like-minded people that support you. I don't like to use the term employees. I like to use the term partners. And I think we hear this more and more because we couldn't do what we do by ourselves.
Right.
So it's no longer, create a system that people will do what I say they will do.
Right.
That's gone. Right. So we are going through major shifts that I feel very excited about, but it's going to be bumpy for a while. So how can we make these bumps a little bit smoother?
Yes.
Is work on ourselves and align ourselves with like-minded people. So look at our operations and invest the time, because if you invest the time to make sure that everybody is functional at work, they have clear instructions what their job is, and you teach them to share. So if I'm not busy, I'll go to Michelle and I say, can I help you? And I see she's surrounded by work. And she says, oh, no, I'm okay. And I say, oh, I'd like to take this if you don't mind. I'm good at this. I'll do it. Right. Because if you have the mentality that it's I, me, mine, this is my job description, you fall off the wagon.
Okay.
And this is what we see now in businesses. They have a hard time getting their employees back to work.
Okay.
Because the shift that's taking place, people are becoming more aware of why am I here? What do I want to do? What am I good at? Am I being appreciated?
Right.
So businesses, when they call us to finish their spaces, often say, oh, I'm hiring 10 people, and I want to make sure that when they come to work, they feel comfortable and they're happy and they're looked after. It's better where they were before. Right. Dream come true, right?
Yes.
So this points in a direction that everybody's waking up and recognizing that, yes, we have to create a new system.
Right.
Because the one we used is falling apart. And now we need to tweak this system because we don't know exactly what it looks like. Right.
Okay. So would you say that we need to be very open in exploring possibilities and alternatives?
Yeah. So I think it's different for everyone, but from a personal point of view, this is the state that I woke up. I recognize that what is really important, is it quantity or quality?
Right.
Is it growth, or is it a supportive environment to look after the best interest of all concerned? And this can include growth, but it's kind of a timeout,
Right. Okay, that's really interesting. You invest a lot of time into that. It looks like you're very concerned about the why. Why are we doing it? Because that gets people motivated, and you're looking for like-minded people. Talk to us about, from a business perspective, and your suppliers. How do you align with your suppliers? And then, because you seem to be the bridge between the suppliers, the manufacturers, and the end consumer who uses what they are. So you are a bridge. How do you build that bridge between the two? That's my thing that I'm fascinated about. right?
Okay. So we've got large corporate clients. We've got many manufacturing, healthcare, educations, nonprofits that we service. We get a lot of business asking us to match certain manufacturers' products. So being a furniture dealer means that you carry certain furniture lines. So we'll have the Adidas, we'll sell the Nike, we'll sell, the different brands. But some of the brands that we carry maybe are not recognized by others, but they are well known in the world market. In other words, if I tell you Porsche or a Cadillac, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
It's the same in the furniture industry. So we had built a relationship with mostly local manufacturers. Right. So close relationship means that through the regional rep or national rep, depending if it's Canada and US, the Canadian manufacturer, we have the relationship that is ongoing for a number of years. So we are sure that we'll get the service, the warranty, right. They'll back us up. In some cases, if we say something, we need something special, we know we'll get the support. Sorry, can you ask me the question again?
No, you're the bridge between the manufacturer and the end user. So how do you connect them?
True. So basically, when people buy anything, they usually buy the brand. They right. buy you, right? So in our case, they heard of, maybe they Googled us and inspired, and the logo attracts their attention because of the deep geometric shape that actually, because there's energetics of space, but this is a long conversation. So they may Google us, they like the word, they like the logo, they like our picture or our description, and then they meet us. It may be that they were referred. So we connect, when they be in touch with us, we have the philosophy to listen, seek to understand, and ask the right questions.
Right.
In the big picture, we take our time to find out what their needs are. We offer them solutions. So it's not everything is custom designed. So a sales cycle can take from a month to a half a year to a year. If it's a brand new building, it can be a year.
Right.
So it's very important that we offer a number of solutions, and they get to learn and get to know us if they weren't referred. So we connect the manufacturer and the customer by an image first, which is a picture.
Yes.
And then the verbal communication and the service part, because when they pick up the phone or we have a Zoom meeting or in-person meeting, depending on where they are,
right.
We develop a relationship very quickly. We have to be very fast and efficient.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more to discuss about this. How does that work on a subliminal level? But we have to, it all comes from the self. So right. Once you know what you're looking for, you create your vision, you set your goals, you create your system, and you stick to it.
Right.
Sometimes you may not like it, so you do the things that you don't like so much first, then you do the fun part at the end.
Right. Yeah, you talk about systems, and business is always about efficiency also, right? And okay, the three interesting components here that that a lot of people sometimes find it difficult, but we tend to think relationship takes time, but business is about efficiency. So in the middle there is the system, right? In the process, you're building relationship, but you're also moving it forward, because we have to move the business deal towards closing a sales or delivering, right? Talk to us about that process very quickly. Because you as you say, it has to be quick, because you cannot drag it on, otherwise the efficiency is lost.
Yeah, you snooze, you lose, right? Yeah. So, like I said, there's a lot more to this, but very quickly to answer your points. So to build a relationship can be very fast, because our relationship started before I picked up the phone or clicked the Zoom. That we are preparing, because we are visualizing, we are setting goals. If we align ourselves with our goals, and our visions, it just comes through, right? Because that's the most powerful creation is the visualization and the goal setting. So relationship doesn't have to take long.
Right.
You have to have the right attitude, and you have to feel that you want to be of service for the best interest of all concerned. So I want the outcome, whatever the client's best interest is. Right. Then the second part is the system. So you've got systems because you've been experiencing whether you had different jobs or you ran different businesses before. So you create a map. And this map will have starting points, and then like a tree, it has different branches, and you name them depending on what business or what you're doing. It's the same for a family. If you're running a family and the children have to go to football or soccer or,
yes.
In a business, it's the same thing. It's no different. So first of all, you have to know yourself and own your strengths and your weaknesses.
Right.
And then when you create this system, you can just change it, revamp it, whether I was operating a bridal salon or I was working as a waitress in a restaurant, I was running a trucking company, or Inspired Business Interiors Inc. Only the activity changes, but the mindset and the desire for a system that functions and flows,
right,
success is the same, right?
Right. Okay, that's really interesting. You mentioned the word family, and a lot of people are talking the work-life balance. But you're telling us that if you have that system of managing well in your family, you can actually transpose it to the workplace.
Yeah.
Right? So
sorry, the most important component that I forgot is to care, care and share.
Right.
Because when you really not only do it because I want to look good or I want to copy somebody else, but you own it.
Yes.
Because once you own it and you practice it, you'll feel so much better.
It sounds like you're saying be your authentic self.
Yeah.
Right. So authenticity perhaps is one of the most important things, especially when you're going through change. If you say that the way business is being done is changing, or society is evolving, and now we're going to start thinking more about the quality of living, right?
Yeah, and be fair,
right?
Let live and let everyone live. So I'm not saying that it has to be this way, but the basic principles, you can apply it to anything.
Right.
The most important is this is the change that we're going through, is we are caring, because we are in it together.
Yeah, I've always believed that no matter what job you're doing, if you're running your own personal life, you have a home, you're making decisions about the budget, you're actually exercising leadership in your personal life, right? And you're managing it. So those leadership and management principles in your personal life can be transposed into the workplace.
Yeah, and you always have to learn. I mean, I've always taken courses, always educating myself, and then applying it, testing it out and testing it out with people that you trust that are going to be honest and going to tell you the truth. Mm-hmm. Change is imminent. We always will experience change, embrace it, and have the belief system that you will be able to do it, because if you have a vision, a plan,
right.
And step by step, and change it if it doesn't work. You like when we implement something new, when in the bridal salon we started selling jewelry and hair accessories and all that, or with Inspired we pick up new product lines. It's very important for us to be environmentally conscious.
Right.
So we always are searching for new products, and this is what transmutes through. This is what I call a corporate culture.
Right.
So when we meet business owners and we walk into the business for the meeting, you have to wear this with you. It has to be a part of you.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's interesting, you mentioned about lifelong learning, and you're always attending courses, right? I have a slogan that in today's world, that if you want lifelong earning, you got to have lifelong learning.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because you've got to constantly evolve your business, and it might be little baby steps, little steps, but it's change, right? And we've got to be
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's a responsibility to own a business. It's a responsibility to have a household. It's a responsibility to be alive. We've got businesses that, like, we grew to the point that we can furnish businesses anywhere in Manitoba, Northwestern Ontario. So we've got some clients. And then when I say I will do it, I will do it. If I can't do it, I have to let them know that I can't.
Right. Okay, we talked a lot about relationships and solutions and the systems and even philosophy, right? But one of the things that, the last 2 years, because people a lot went online and didn't want to go into the workplace, talk to us about how you see the evolving, I use this term, creating inviting workspaces as opposed to workplaces. Right. So how do you see that work office environment changing? Now, what's the discussion going on within the industry you're in, right, about the workspace?
Yes, very, very, very good topic. There's a lot of confusion still, but most people recognize that they need to go back to a different normal, and that normal hasn't manifested yet. In order to operate, depending on the business, like manufacturing is totally different from an accounting firm, but they are trying to bring their employees back to work in the office part-time. So there's different percentages, but it looks like 60% of people like working at home, depending if they have a small family and it's more hectic, they don't have a separate office to work from. But the businesses are trying to bring the employees back. So they are adding perks, which is a healthy, balanced work environment, which is our top dream come true. I mean, we've been working on this. When I started Inspire, this was my business plan included a healthy, balanced work environment where people can function and thrive. So it includes looking at the holistic view of a workspace. It includes looking at the energy of space, which is the materials, the colors, the shapes, live plants, lighting. It's expensive for some of the companies to change their workspaces. So they're coming to us and asking us, what do you suggest? So then depending on the answers, what is your plan for the next 5 years? Is your lease going to be up? What can we throw at them some ideas with some numbers, and then they'll come back and then say, let's do this. So at this point, we want this client to keep coming back and to give us referral business. So it's very important to be transparent, not to just go after that sale, but be responsible for offering the right solution. Right. Yeah.
So the art of conversation is really important, you'd say, in dealing with customers and clients.
How to read and influence people, able to listen and offer the right solution. So I've got a philosophy where I would like to see everybody the best that they can be. So from a time logistics, and depending on the size of the company, sometimes we are not able to communicate with everyone, but we'd like to at least sit down with the decision makers to get a feel for what is their plan and what works, what doesn't work, in order to come up with the right solution. And I use a system called Seek to Understand. So we'll ask questions back, and to a larger meeting, there'll go at least 2 of us or 3 of us, just more ears, more eyes, right?
Yes.
It makes a better outcome for reading and understanding the people. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. It's interesting. Brian has been here with us, listening. Come on in, Brian. What's your impressions, and what pops in your mind that you think we should ask Edith?
Actually, I have a couple questions here. I want to sort of tighten up on some of the things you were talking about. You've had a wide variety of jobs, careers over the years, from starting out in fashion and bridal to farming to serving in restaurants to working at Rogers and a trucking company. What made you decide to finally open your business in office furniture? Was that because it was the last job, or what did
No.
made it decide that's the one I want to do?
Yeah, so I think I'd like to make a point that I think I started out with. Everyone has their vision and mission and values, and when you create a goal, or some people have a vision board with a picture of a cottage and a car, and so this was my dream. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I got accepted to a school in Ontario, but my parents got divorced, so I couldn't attend. So I took an interior decorating course. So I worked at the bridal salon around beauty and happiness. Then I moved to Rogers. I wanted to embrace that job because technology wasn't my high strength. So I said, I can do this. So programming phones while I'm going to the appointment, different phones from Nokia to Motorola, the ones flip up, this was probably about 20 years ago. I can't remember. It was another life. Right. Then the office furniture, I'm playing with materials. I'm playing with colors, shapes, forms, and the people, I'm making their workspace. It's like Christmas every time they deliver furniture. It's like I'm making their workspaces so that they can be successful and be in their passions and functional. An accountant will need, if they use still paper, a totally different layout. You can't go online or IKEA and build your office furniture. It's not going to serve its purpose the same. So being in the best interest of all concerned, being in service, it will automatically bring success. It'll bring your dream come true. Just be patient and roll up your sleeve and don't stop dreaming. Those entrepreneurs that have an idea, a fresh idea, or an existing business that they'd like to expand in a different direction, don't give up. It's going to be hard work, but be you.
Right.
I got one more thing here, and you're already on your way to answering this. I just want you to tighten that up a little bit. What makes your business stand out from the other office furniture businesses, the other competition out there? You're already halfway there, I think, into telling me this just now, but continue on. What makes you different?
Thank you, Brian. I think we all see things are shifting from competition to collaboration, to thrive. How we are different is, I guess, who we are, because we are all different. And everyone deserves success. And there's many ways of getting there. And my way is not the way. Our competition is successful with their systems. The difference is that we care, we're passionate, you're dealing with the owners. The outcome is very important. We'll go out of our way to ask the right questions and offer the proper solution. We look after the warranty from, some clients after 12 years, if there's something wrong, we are there.
Right. That's really interesting. You talked about moving from being competitive towards collaborative, competition to collaboration. But I advise a lot of businesses on negotiations, and I always say that collaboration is the most effective way to achieve competitive advantage.
Yes.
Right? If we collaborate, we're going to succeed more.
Yes. And now in these changing times, it's very important that we become authentic and collaborate and negotiate. Mm-hmm. Because we will not do business the way we've done before. So you have to make sure that your partners are real partners. And if they are good, you want to keep them. Because companies have a hard time bringing their talents back.
Right.
It's hard to find new ones.
Yes.
Because now everybody is on the path of discovering a new way, a new economy, using technology. And you ask about technology, I think I've got a vision. We incorporated technologies. I was very much in social media, automating certain parts of the business because we can't do it. But I am very careful when it comes to growing and automating the business where we lose the human touch.
Right.
Because that human touch is what keeps us thriving.
Right.
We are seen to be a little bit lost,
Right.
searching for that human. So the biology and the technology are now blending together. But it seems like we have a hard time separating the two and using it accordingly. So the technology serves its purpose, and the human heart, drive, passion, you can't put that in a software, right?
Yes, and that's really interesting. You seem to have three ingredients that I picked up, from the business world. And you know me, I enjoy understanding the big corporates, and I also enjoy looking at the micro business, right? Because the interesting thing about the smaller businesses is we can be agile, and you can shift faster than the big guys. So the big guys may have all the data coming in, right? But the three things that I think everyone's trying to put together and is to create that something new that you keep talking about is, and I think this new is more a relationship-based business as opposed to transactional. Like I'm the cheapest, I'm the fastest. So buy from me kind of thing. So the three things that are intersecting is we've got technology there. Some people fear that technology will standardize everything and we become robots. But you are saying that if you have philosophy, you can use that technology better.
Yeah.
Right.
See, we service large corporations, and they come to us. Sometimes it's because they are told to deal local. So this local support community is a vibe, it's a word. It's not quite in the heart yet. Right. It's just up here. But it is going to sink there because we need each other. Right. So the principles that I believe are very important will transcend into the larger corporations. Of course, they'll have a little bit longer to implement it because of the capacity that they operate. And the technology and the human aspect, I think, is surfacing now, and we are on track to recognize where an app is needed, and where we should automate emails, and when we should pick up the phone and call. Right. So that's the interesting thing, that everything can be automated. At the same time, there is a point where you need to have that human voice at the other end of the line. Right. And it's very important that we know what fits for us, because what fits for me may not fit for you or someone else. Right. But in order to be authentic, and we have to open up. We have to open a conversation at the workplace with each other in mind, caring and using the talent for. Right. Okay, so that's really interesting. What because you I thought we were closing, but you actually opened with something, another big thing which could take us an hour, which is like how the big corporates are trying to be authentic at a local level, right? Yeah. No, it's coming. I think we're practicing it, and practice makes perfect, Right. And I think for them to do it, they need to work with smaller businesses like yours, for instance. A local business, right, can give that big corporates a sense of what the local flavor is. Yeah, I think once we switch, yes, that's very true. But I think we have to implement it not only at the workplace, but at home too. So that work-life balance means a lot more. And again, this is another topic, but it comes back to when I talked about farming, Yes. So it's interesting. So I think we're coming up to an hour.
We're slightly under an hour, but I think we, Edith, you've been like so open, and we really appreciate what you did. I mean, you opened up about your personal life. We appreciate that, and I guess being an entrepreneur requires us to be comfortable about our personal lives as much as being comfortable with the business we're putting our passion into, right? Because it's so important to have the authenticity. Otherwise, we can't sustain it, right?
We can't, yeah. Otherwise, yeah. So we have to honor each other, recognize each other's strengths, have gratitude, compliment each other. Criticize with a point where you criticize and offer a solution.
Right.
Because just criticism alone will do harm.
Okay.
Whereas gratitude, you can give thanks and thanks and thanks, and that will grow a beautiful tree.
Okay. That I like that, criticize but offer solutions, right? What's your sense, Brian, on that? What Edith is sort of summarizing here,
It makes perfect sense. Criticism alone is a negative thing, but to offer the idea that this is probably not a good idea. What would you think of this? Given somebody an alternative.
Yes, exactly.
As a more positive feel than just saying you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I have a dear friend who we furnished for probably, I don't know, many years. And her voicemail says, I'm sorry I was not able to come to the phone, but please leave a message and let me help you. Something like, I'm busy helping my co-workers to give them the tools so they can be productive. Let me call you back and help you so you can be productive. Something like that, but it's being in service,
Yes. Okay, great. I think that's a nice way for us to conclude our conversation. And there's so much here for us to digest, and I definitely want to re-listen the conversation and digest more. Thank you for sharing, but yours is an authentic business. It's been around for so long, and you have had a lot of successes. So thanks for sharing. Right, our podcast series has grown out of what used to be a Friday meeting physically, but I think with this podcast, we are hoping that being a recorded thing, it's going to be on YouTube, and then we will be able to spread it out to others who may not be able to meet up for a Friday discussion. But definitely on the second Friday of December, we will invite people to come in after first listening to this podcast recording, and we will have some discussions about it. So thank you, Edith, for sharing. Right, this has been the Biz Exchange Podcast, and we are going to have this uploaded onto YouTube, and we're going to spread it out there. And on the second Friday of December, we're going to be discussing it. So it's going to be a great way to move into the holiday season after that. Right? Because
thank you very much.
So thank you, Edith. Yes.
Thank you very much, Siddha. Thank you very much, Brian. It was lots of fun.